Well, hi there, I'm Noah Bradley and this is Handmade House TV. On this week's episode, we're going to talk about A-frame houses. Stay tuned. Well, today on Handmade House TV, let's talk about A-frame houses. I've recently got a question from one of you guys. And by the way, if you ever have a question for me, don't hesitate to shoot it to me at noah@handmadehouses.com. Just be patient with my response. I get a lot of emails, and try to keep your questions to the minimum amount, just one basic question. But recently I got one, and it was, what do I think of A-frame houses? And the short answer to that is I like them. They're kind of cool. Back during the 1960s, A-frames were very popular among individuals that wanted to build their own home. They look good in a wooded setting. They're sort of basic, and that is that they're one big roof that you live under, and you got to build a roof on your house anyway. And they kind of look like a pup tent, like most tents are, with a nice steep roof on it, and they make a pretty cute house, no doubt about it. And of course, like any form of construction, there are negative aspects of it. I have never built an A-frame as a result of those negative aspects, but before I go, I wouldn't mind building an A-frame. They just look like a fun structure. The problems with A-frame is that, first of all, inside of your home you have very few vertical walls. Your home is dominated by slope ceiling, and generally the amount of floor space you have is dramatically curbed as a result of your walls leaning inward. Generally your stuff tends to get tucked into these corners, and therefore A-frame homes tend to look a little bit cluttered, would be a kind word. Also, because of the orientation of the home, it never fails that in order to get a chimney in the house, that it needs to be centrally located right down the middle of the home. And also that's where the staircase ends up being put into place, is right down the center of the home. And also that's where the doorways tend to be focused in as well. And so these three critical items tend to all line up, and one is they're constantly conflicting and battling each other. So it's a very challenging to get a properly function inside home. Generally, folks end up going with some kind of spiral staircase, which is kind of cute for a little while, but it gets very tiresome after a while, going up and down a spiral staircase. And also another aspect with A-frames is, well, there's not a great buyer market for it. There's a lot more people interested in putting up an A-frame than there are people interested in buying a used A-frame. But the final issue that I have with A-frames is that they are very difficult to add on to properly, to gain more square footage than what they are. That it's quite a challenge to do something aesthetic that really adds much space. So what you need to do if you're considering building an A-frame is to try to seek out an A-frame that is of the maximum square footage that you ever think you might want in your life, and then perhaps start with a smaller version of it, and so you move forward knowing what additions you'll add to it in the future. All in all, A-frames are cool. But they do have their downsides. But I'm not here to dissuade you. If you've got a passion for an A-frame, I say go for it. Well, all right, guys, that's it for this week. We'll look forward to seeing you next week here on Handmade House TV. Bye now.